Hello, thanks for joining me for practice today. Today we're going to talk about the difference between joy and pleasure. So we'll start with a passage from the Katha Upanishads. As a human being, you have been born with the capacity to make choices. No other creature has this capacity, and no human being can avoid this responsibility. Every moment, whether you see it or not, you decide between two alternatives in what you think, say, and do. So these two alternatives that are specifically designated in this passage from the Upanishad are Preya and Shreya. So let's break those down and try to understand what those two things are. Preya is motivated by desire. It sends us to actions that bring temporary pleasure that usually serves the individual self. Shreya, on the other hand, is motivated by the source of all joy. These actions are perennial in nature, they're ever renewing and bring us home toward oneness. So throughout our practice today, we're going to find poses that help us to embody the differences between Preya and Shreya and how those things can lead us to temporary pleasure or long-lasting inherent joy. So to begin practice, find yourself in a really comfortable seat on your mat. Start to settle in through the sitting bones, start to find a tall spine. Then stretch your hands out to the floor, fingertips in contact with the earth. And pause. Feel that tenuous connection to the earth, and as you inhale, begin to sweep the arms out wide, up and overhead. Let your gaze lift. Exhale, pull everything in, crunch in towards the center, make fists, feel grasping. Inhale, return to your original position. Exhale. Inhale, sweep it up another time. Feel that openness. Exhale, pull it all inward. Hold and grasp. Feel the tension. Inhale, release. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Inhale again, sweeping up. Feel the abundance. Exhale, pull it in. Try to hold it inside you. Relax that tension and fingertips return again to the floor. Take a gentle pause here. Then open your eyes and stretch your legs out long in front of you. Find an established seat. Lengthen the legs and the spine. Shake out any tension in the upper body. Then leading from your heart, let your heart reach for your toes as if it were reaching for desire. Keep your long, flat back as you hold this shape for a few rounds of breath. As you continue to surrender in this fold, letting go of that striving toward your desire, feel how as you surrender your heart forward towards your legs, the whole back body gets spacious and abundant. Use your breath to enhance the effect of this part of the fold. Letting go of desire, connecting to wholeness, expansiveness. Keep looking within. Keep relaxing into it, starting to release all effort in the pose. Let your gaze be inward. Feel your back turning away from the temporary pleasures of the external world and focusing in on the abundance within. When you're ready to come out, breathe into the back of the heart and let that lift you back up to a seated shape. Take a resting breath. And from here, we'll transition to a tabletop shape. So swinging the legs behind the body, coming onto all fours. We're going to move from here into an open heart shape, so we can kind of imagine that there's something in front of us that we're longing for. And as we start to walk our bodies forward, we feel our heart reaching for what it is that we desire. Pull the shoulders back, relaxing any work away from that. Maybe chin drops towards the chest a little bit here as we settle into the front body opening. See if you can get a sense of relaxation in the lower body, softness in the face. Feel the palms grounding into that strong foundation of joy within. Feel the life force and prana moving through your body. And let your gaze maybe come inward towards that abundant, open heart. Take 3 more breaths. Big, full inhales into your heart. Long exhales, maybe out through the mouth. 2 more. Then slowly transitioning back toward the belly or the heart on the floor, elbows coming wide. Softening all effort, shaking out any tension in the body, fully letting go to that foundation of joy. Let it support you. Take 1 more breath. And start to bring the palms underneath the shoulders, pressing back up into our tabletop shape. Practice turning our heart away from that temporary pleasure, but remaining open to the abundance within. So stabilizing through the right hand and your knees, start to swing your left arm up and open. Feel your heart shift. Feel it open. Press into that right hand and extend from wrist to wrist. Maybe turn the head down and back up if some neck movement feels good. Reaching that arm back down to the mat, untwisting, coming back into your neutral shape. Finding that same motion in the heart on the right side, pressing into the left hand, swinging the right arm up and open, heart shifting to the right. Gaze might again shift here. Exhale, return your right hand to the mat, back to neutral table. Our tabletop shape is sort of our home base. When we feel aligned, we feel grounded in our joy. And what happens is when we get here and we start to get really comfortable here, we start to find distraction moving into our lives. So we're going to imagine something to the left of the mat that is calling to us, something that we desire. And we start to feel our heart and our mind shift away from center. So walk your hands over to that left side of your mat. Feel how the left shoulder squeezes toward the left hip. And there's this joyful experience on the right side of the body where there's this opening happening. This asymmetry in the body is a good way of embodying sort of that trade-off. When we go for the short-term pleasure, we might lose something that was long-term or more long-lasting. Maybe considering as you hold this asymmetrical shape in the body, how that might be showing up for you. Breathe into the open side. Feel the limitation on the left. And start to feel how this asymmetry makes you want to long for balance again. Maybe take another breath or two. And find your way back to center. Neutralizing here, feeling that support of the floor below again, alignment, balance. Now we're going to imagine something to the left of the mat that we're hoping to avoid. It is not just our desires that can pull us off balance. Sometimes it's things we are avoiding. So with that thing that we're avoiding on the left side of the mat, start to walk your body away from it towards the right side. Feel how as we walk away from it, again, we're facing the limitation that's now on our right side. And we're sort of looking away from that opening on the left side body. Sometimes the things that we avoid are actually opportunities for us to grow or adapt. Many of the challenges that we face in life have sort of hidden behind the surface benefits of wisdom, change, transformation. None of these things come without some kind of struggle, disruption. Again, feel the asymmetry in the body, feel the open side, the closed side, the relationship between the two. Feel how the asymmetry again has you longing for that centered, balanced state of being. Pull away from that distraction and start to come back to your centered place, trusting in the baseline of joy below and the gentle openness in your heart. From this base of tabletop, begin to find some cat-cow movements, feeling the direction of the heart moving forward and back, feeling the expansion and contraction shifting places as you move with your breath. Feel the movements of your heart as if pulled by desire forward and back, taking a few more rounds of cat-cow before finding your way back to a neutral tabletop shape. From here, we're going to practice shifting our heart away from those temporary desires. So being balanced on your right hand, start to swing your left arm up and open, shifting your heart and your gaze, getting expansive, then reaching the left arm underneath the body, resting on the left shoulder, threading the needle underneath your body. Pause and breathe here. One more breath here, pinning the left shoulder under the body. Then as you breathe in, swing that left arm back up and open, stretching the heart open, and return back to neutral table. Balancing on the left side now, swinging the right arm open, shifting your heart away from that temporary desire, opening to that abundance, then reaching the right arm under the body, pinning the right shoulder. Perhaps that left hand can press into the floor to shift your heart a little bit more deeply to the left. Laying across this grasping, reaching right arm is almost to stop it from reaching outside and beginning to shift toward that open-heartedness of inherent joy within. Reaching the right arm back up and open to the right and coming back to neutral tabletop. From tabletop, tucking both sets of toes underneath the body. Press your knees up and the hips back into downward facing dog. Ground, find your establishment in your feet and your hands. Find a lift through the hips. Let the head hang heavy, chin coming close to your chest to look into your own heart, finding that abundance there. Let your breath flow smoothly. Hold this shape. Feel your steadiness. Feel the feet and hands connecting to that foundation of inherent joy. Let your head get heavy, chin dropping towards your chest to look within to that abundant, divine heart within you. On an inhale, lift the right leg high, finding 3-limb downward facing dog. As you exhale next, bring that right foot between the hands. We're gonna drop the left heel so that the left toes are facing wider and the left heel is around the center of the mat. Lifting up, bending into that right knee. We have our sphere of energy between the hands. This is the prana that we're working with. This motion is based on Tai Chi. So as we inhale, we're going to receive that sphere of energy down towards the heart as the right knee straightens. On our exhale, we're going to push that energy forward as the knee bends again. As we inhale, arms come behind, legs straightens, heart and gaze lift. Exhale, bend into the right knee, back into warrior one. Flowing with your breath now. Inhale, receive. Exhale, push away. Inhale, arms behind. Exhale, back to warrior one. Inhale, sphere descends to the heart. Exhale, push it forward, bending the knee. Inhale, straighten and open the arms behind you. Exhale, back to warrior one. Meeting back in warrior one. We're going to plant that sphere of energy back into the earth, framing the right toes, stepping back again to downward facing dog. Get established, turn your gaze back inward. Left leg lifts into 3-limb downward facing dog, and then left leg steps forward, dropping the right heel to come back into that warrior one stance, sphere of energy between the hands. Left knee is bent, hips and heart face forward. On an inhale, draw that energy into your heart, left knee straightens. Exhale, push it forward, knee bends. Inhale, bring arms behind, heart lifts, left leg straightens again. Exhale, bend back into the left knee, come back to warrior one. Inhale, pull the sphere down, leg straightens. Exhale, push it forward, knee bends. Inhale, arms open behind, leg straightens. Exhale, back to warrior one. And again, inhale, exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, warrior one. One more round. Inhale, exhale, push. Inhale, open. Exhale again. Firmly back in warrior one. Again, we'll plant that sphere of energy into the earth, framing the left toes, and again, stepping back to downward facing dog. Gaze going inward, hands and feet established on that solid rock of innate joy, of our true nature of bliss. On an exhale, knees drop to the mat, tabletop, cat arch through the spine, hips shift back towards the heels to find child's pose. Let your breath remain smooth and steady. Keep looking within, feeling the back body expand as we go inward. That expansion and opening continues. On an inhale, rising back through tabletop. Tucking both sets of toes again, finding our way back into downward facing dog. Secure in your connection to the floor, continue to look within. On an inhale, right leg rises. On an exhale, right knee steps forward again, dropping the left heel for our warrior one stance. Bending into that right knee, that sphere of energy between the hands, heart and hips face forward. This time as we inhale, we receive that abundant energy between the hands. As we exhale, we pass it on. Keep a long flat back as you lean forward. Inhale, receive. Exhale, pass it on. Meeting back in that warrior one starting position. Plant the hands, bringing that sphere of energy down to the earth. Let the left knee drop behind you on the mat. From here, the left hand is going to stay planted. We inhale to lift the heart away from the floor. Exhale, twist your heart open to the right. There are various positions for your right hand here. Right hand could be on right thigh. Right arm could reach back towards the back of the mat, or even grasp for the left toes here. The idea is that the heart is open to that abundant source. We are grounded in our foundation of inherent natural joy. Ready to come out, untwist the body, plant both palms on the earth, tuck the left toes, step back, downward facing dog. Come back to that situation of being trusting in that foundation, gaze inward into that abundant heart. On an inhale, left leg rises, 3-limb downward facing dog. Exhale, left foot steps forward again, dropping the right heel to come into our warrior one stance. Sphere of energy between the hands, steady in the legs and feet. As we inhale, we receive that energy, and then keeping our flat back as we exhale, we offer it forward to pass it on. Meeting up in warrior one again. On an exhale, frame your toes, planting that sphere of energy into the earth. Right knee drops behind, grounding through the right hand. Lift the heart, twist it open to the left. Again, left hand could stay here on the thigh. You might reach back towards the back of the mat, or even reach for the right toes. The idea being that the heart is open. We've turned away from that temporary pleasure in favor of the already abundant joy within. When you're ready to come out, untwist the body, frame the toes. tuck the right toes underneath the body. Step back again, downward facing dog. Just taking a few breaths here to find that equilibrium, that neutral, trusting in our foundation, looking within the heart. One more breath in, the hips rise. Exhale, knees to the mat. Cat arch through the spine as we work our way back again into child's pose. Remaining here for just a few more breaths in child's pose. Rising again from child's pose into tabletop, tucking both sets of toes and back again to downward facing dog. Grounded through hands and feet, trusting our foundation of natural state of being, our natural joy, looking within the heart. Allowing the knees to drop, coming into a cat and cow just to neutralize, and then back to child's pose. Continuing your motion side to side as you exhale and back to center as you inhale. Meeting back up in that warrior one stance, plant that sphere of energy in the earth. Step back with your right foot back to downward facing dog. Get steady through the hands and feet. Look into your own heart. When you're ready, left leg rises, 3-limb downward facing dog, stepping forward again to find our warrior one stance. Keeping that sphere of energy between the hands, that Shreya that guides us, feeling ourselves pulled to the right with Priya. Inhale back to center, exhale, lean to the left, inhale back to center. Continuing your motion, exhaling to the side, inhaling to center, exhale to the other side, inhale back to center. Take a few more rounds of breath like this. Meeting back in warrior one, we plant that sphere of energy again into the earth, stepping back with the left foot to come back into downward facing dog. Maintaining our steady connection to our foundation of inherent joy, looking within our own hearts. On an inhale, hips rise. On an exhale, knees come back down to the mat. Cat arching through the spine as we recline again back into child's pose. Continue smooth breath. Feel as you trust the floor beneath you, how the back body expands. Keep your focus inward. A few more gentle rounds of breath here in child's pose. rising from child's pose back into all fours, tabletop. From tabletop, tucking both sets of toes, pressing up and back again, downward facing dog. Looking within, grounded in our foundational perennial joy. Allow both feet to travel to the top of the mat, now finding a forward fold at the top of your mat. On an inhale, find a flat back. On an exhale, fold. On an inhale, find a flat back. Arms reach in line with your torso. Grab that sphere of energy between the hands. On an inhale, let the hips sink as the hands rise, rocking up into chair pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lean to one side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, lean to the other side. Inhale, back to center. And then take a dive forward into forward fold again. On an inhale, find your flat back. Arms reach ahead, grabbing that sphere. Hinge back up into chair pose. Centered and grounded here with our perennial joy between hands. Once again, feel yourself being pulled to either side as you exhale and coming back to center as you inhale. Meeting back in chair pose, take a dive forward again. On an inhale, find your flat back, arms reaching to find your sphere of energy. Hinge back up into chair pose. This time we're going to twist, so staying low through the hips and high through the head and heart. Twist open to the left, arms come out wide. Pause. Untwist, straighten the legs, reach up. Sphere of energy here. Take a break for the knees, the quads. Exhale back into chair pose, this time opening the heart to the right. Untwisting, straightening the legs again, taking a break. Feel that perennial joy between the hands and that foundation below your feet. One more breath in here, reach up, exhale, find your fold again. Bend your knees enough to plant your palms and step back again to downward facing dog. Grounding through hands and feet, looking into your heart. Take a few breaths, find your steadiness. On an exhale, knees drop again. Cat arch through the spine. And sink it back again to child's pose. rising again to our neutral tabletop shape. We'll revisit our warm-ups from the beginning of class to begin cooling down. Start to walk your body over towards the left, squeezing left shoulder and left hip, opening the right shoulder away from the right hip. Breathe here. Feel the asymmetry. Walk yourself back to center, baseline. Then walk yourself to the right, squeezing right hip toward right shoulder, broadening, expanding, and opening on the left side. Pausing again, feeling the asymmetry. Walking again back to center tabletop. Grounding through the right hand, lift the left arm open, twisting the heart, broadening, feeling that expanse. Exhale, reach left arm under the body, pinning the left shoulder. Thread the needle. Starting to come back up into neutral table. Ground through the left hand. Start to swing the right arm up and open again, twisting the heart away from that temporary pleasure to feel the abundance of perennial joy within. Breathe here in the pose. On an exhale, right arm reaches under the body, pinning the right arm, coming in to thread the needle on this side. Left hand might press into the earth to twist the heart a little more. And again, rising back into neutral tabletop. Swing the knees out to one side, bringing the sitting bones down to the floor. Soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent. Lean back into the hands. Then reaching the arms forward, slowly pull the back of the spine down to meet the mat. As your head and shoulders touch down, release the arms, extend the legs long. Take a few moments to rest. Bending at the knees again, soles of the feet back on the floor. Knees might collapse together. Breathe here. Trust and open. Arms rise up to shoulder height, maybe in a T. Knees lift off the mat towards the chest, finding a little rocking from side to side. And allow the knees to fall totally open to the left. Settle into your twist, gaze shifting to the right. Untwisting, coming back to center, knees and nose. And eventually finding some movement, resetting the spine, and allowing the knees to fall open to the right, nose falls open to the left. Resting here in your twist, Feel how turning away from that temporary pleasure allows the heart to open wide. Feel a sense of trust in the ground beneath you. Make any adjustment to relax a little more in the pose. Open heart, ease in the body. Drawing knees back to center, adjusting the spine again, find your neutral. Arms come down alongside the body, wrists near to the hips. Take a big inhale into the belly, then exhale to lift the sacrum into bridge pose. Relax hands, feet, and face. Effort only where it helps hold the pose. On an exhale, release the body back down to the earth. Rising again into bridge pose. Feel your steady breath. Arms might lengthen under the body, fingers interlaced. Feeling openness and groundedness. On an exhale, let your body come back to the floor. Inhale, exhale, last round of bridge pose. Let your effort be efficient. Face, hands, and feet are soft. Feel the heart reaching up towards the chin. Last breath in, exhale. Release your spine back to the floor. Let your knees come in and rock. Maybe cannonball briefly. Then releasing your body down to the floor. Extending the legs. Finding Shavasana. Let your body rest into the floor. Then begin to draw the feet and the hands together, stretching into a long stretch. Fingertips to toes, long, heart open. Start to walk your arms, shoulders, head, and legs over to the left side of your mat, feeling openness on the right. Feel again yourself being pulled to the left, towards some temporary pleasure. And yet notice how we're leaning into the contraction and maybe missing that openness on the right side of the body. Come back to center into that long stretch again, fingertips to toes, front body open, and starting to walk hands, arms, legs, head and shoulders over to the right. And again, as we lean toward that pleasure, we might miss the abundance that's on the left side of the body. Asymmetry causing us to long for balance again. Walk yourself back to center, to that long stretch. And start to get comfortable in Shavasana again. Make any last adjustments. Begin to settle into that deeply restful Shavasana, content with what is, open, relaxed, centered, and grounded. As you settle into your resting pose, feel the relationship between that foundational joy that's supporting you, supporting your back body, and the open space above you that is inviting you in, that your body and breath move you into with each inhale. Tune into your breath, that renewing life force within you. Scanning the whole body for tension and releasing it wherever you find it. Deepening your trust in that foundational perennial joy. Broadening your possibilities into that open space above you. Resting in Shreya, resting in internal abundance. resting in your stillness, observing that flow of life force in and out of the body. Bringing back to your awareness the support behind your body, that solid foundation of joy. Feel the open space above the body, and as you breathe, how your heart and your breath almost lead you into that open possibility. Nothing is needed, nothing to strive for, simply that openness and supportedness. Watch how your breath moves between those two spaces. And begin to allow your breath to deepen. Move further into that open possibility as you inhale. Sink deeper into that support as you exhale. Continuously deepening the breath. Feel that aliveness moving to every area of your body. Feel yourself filled up. And start to feel the very edges of your body, the top of the head, the tips of the fingers, the tip of the nose, the tip of your toes. Feeling very gentle, soft movements of aliveness starting to happen there. Beginning gently, allowing those movements to spread from the very tips of the fingers and toes into the hands and feet, into the wrists and ankles. Beginning to allow the head a side-to-side movement. Continuing to breathe deeply, finding that aliveness within you. As those movements grow larger, feel the desire within you to expand the body, and slowly, over the course of several breaths, work your way into a space where arms and legs are out wide, kind of making a big X shape on the mat. Spread yourself open. Feel that abundance within you. Feel that strong support behind every part of your body. Take several rounds of breath in this stretched out shape. And then just as a reminder, start to pull your knees and elbows inward towards the heart. Start to make little fists with the hands. Coil yourself in. Feel again that holding on and all the tension that it creates in the body, in the mind. Then relax and release that tension, roll to your side, and come back into that place of relaxed stillness. Take several rounds of breath here in this seed pose, knowing that everything you need to bloom into your very best self is already within you. And it's only our job to create the right conditions for that blooming to happen. There's nothing to seek, nothing to acquire. Simply mindfulness to bring our best out. Take one more breath here in this seed shape. And use your top hand to press your way back up to seated. Be mindful about the placement of your sitting bones, maybe shifting weight again from side to side, letting your body get really settled into that strong foundation. And again, how that foundation allows there to be an opening and a lifting through the central channel of the body. Relax any responsibilities for seeking or acquiring as your shoulders slouch down and back. And as the heart blooms open, feel all that space within you. We're going to bring the palms to face up, which you can either rest on your knees or hold them up about heart height on either side, palms up and open. And since we worked with so much chi and prana and energy today, maybe you can still feel an awareness or a tingling sensation in each palm. You hold in one hand Shreya, that wholeness mentality. And in the other we hold Preya, that seeking for pleasure. And an act or a symbol of sacrificing our short-term pleasure for the long-term good. Let's bring palm to palm in front of the heart and then pull it into our heart center, bowing to what is within. Allowing the light of Shreya to guide us and surrendering our own will to the greater will of love, the greater will of compassion, the greater will of wholeness and oneness, a state of yoga. Bow to that light that is within you. And we offer this practice to the easing of our own suffering and the suffering of all other living things. So we close with this prayer. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy, healthy, safe, and free. Namaste.